You see them come up, you know it's a stream of information that you need. Why do you matter? Why do you matter? I'm putting the question on you right now. The next time you see me, you should have an answer for me. Why do you matter? Because I know you don't have one now. It's not your job, because I want to ask you a question and we'll get down to the nitty-gritty of why we know it's not your job. So why do you matter? And it can't be your kids, because if that was the ultimate thing, you'd be going on the love train with me. So it can't be that. We're going to call you out on that. But ultimately, it's where you will head, because it's the only place we can head. But the great thing is everybody becomes family in that world. So it's a beautiful thing. But let's talk about this for a moment. What would the world be like without you in it? Would anybody miss you? Would they just get somebody else to do the job that you do? Ultimately, most certainly they would. Greed never leaves itself without. Don't you know that? We know this about greed. So, you're left there. Whatever purpose you had, it's just as so much as a dollar can buy off. Some people think their value, that their essence is tied up in those dollars too. Ain't that sad? Because they could be traded off like that. So true. So, again, I ask, what gives you purpose? What gives you value? Why do you matter? Who would miss you if you were gone? That's when you know you matter. I assure you, if your happy healer were to get hit by a bus, this world is missing a big, big, bright star of love. And I would not let it be any other way, because I want you to know I'm gone if I end up gone. That's right. And I'm so totally confident that by digging deep into the individual, myself even, and others, that I can deeply grab what matters most, and what that is love, and I contend it. I will always bring that truth real and loud, and bring other examples as to why that's true. You know that's my job as your happy healer love. I do that first and foremost. I'm running for president because I could only do that more. And that's the kind of president we need. Guys, anything short of that, we don't get that. That's the fact. That is what I've come to the conclusion when I know how large the human love issue is. I was just watching Bill Maher, and he was talking about some of the same things I know the answers to. In that Bill Maher is talking about the reasons why we need to start thinking about this stuff, and I agree. Ultimately, he understands. Ultimately, although some things I think he's would be happy to hear from what I have to say, for example. And others, especially since our perception at all areas is different, and it'll take those perceptions in the truest ways to come with a solution that serves in a meaningful way, and not one solution for all either. Love allows for many different options, because we love, and because value is so much more important than just the greed that's backing it now. That's right. So a lot of the shows moving forward, maybe this next week, will be geared around the reason why I'm even a presidential candidate at all, more so than what my policies are. I've taken some time and talked about policies and some different things, and I always keep the love in there and the greed and the other things that are killing us. But ultimately, remember, we have to talk about the human condition. That's the problem. The human condition. Any honest broker of truth will say that, and they'll first acknowledge the problem within themselves if they know that that's the truth. Now, if you're an honest broker of truth, that's the way to approach that. And since that's the truth, you can also admit your flaws and not be judged for it. And you know what? That's God's world. That's how I knew it was God's world. And you'll know it too. Some of you know it already, and that you are trying to push for the same things. You're backing it because you ultimately get it.
Ate my lighter up.
What?
Man,
I'm live here. It's all right. So, anyways, think about that. We have that void on the inside of us, and I'm speaking to that void, and I'm saying, in the deepest sense, I have seen death. I know you have. Let's say you own everything. Let's say everything is yours. Even the speaker I'm holding, and I need your permission to hold it. Would you please dearly give me the permission to say these words? Because they're true. So I reach deep into the human psyche, soul, the area where we have to talk to in order to solve these problems, and say, don't you know too what that death feels like? I know you've seen it. I've seen the look on my mother and my father, both who have been deceased at this point. I've also lost a brother, and myself. I have been so close with my drug addiction in the past, and I have seen hell. And I know that hell. And I know when you get to that hell, the only thing that matters is, did you live a life worth living? That's it. That's it. It's all that matters. So just existing is not the goal, folks. Trying to put the marker just another 5 or 10 years down the road where things don't destroy itself is not the answer. And nor can that particular answer that we've been riding on for so long last any longer either. Perhaps God's plan, not mine. So we have a choice. We have to either get serious about our fate and confront the human condition and what's actually causing these issues so that we have some hope to fix them. That is the gun violence. That is all of the hell that we see. The hell that I'm talking about in my daily life. Yes, I have the strength to deal with that. But what about the kid that don't? We have to remember all of us are in this together. And when you create the hell in the environment for this to happen, then you know that you are to be blamed for that. So sometimes I say, and you don't like hearing it, wear your shame. Wear it wholly. I wear mine. I know my fault in all of this, and I admit it. I know where I'm at fault, and I know why. I know that the doctor's greed, for example, caused me my drug addiction. I get that. They got out of the business of healthcare and got into the business of making money. But in the new world, we actually put people first because that's what a love allows us to do. Everything else doesn't allow that. And greed, every single road you take, I've done it. I've actually looked at it. I've tried it. If there's any way to live a life worth living in this world without turning to love, I would have figured it out. And you know it too, because I just had a friend who, and I'm not going to tell you who it is, but this friend just recently, because I'm having all kinds of different experiences by opening my own self up, that other people open themselves up to me as well. And I've learned people you would never expect, they go through issues just like you do. And you never expect these people that they would have everything, every advantage that they should ever want. And yet they still have to suffer with some mighty, mighty concerning things. So why are we forgetting about them? Why are they forgetting about us? We are virtually all in the same boat together. It's just who spends more time in that hell is all that matters. So virtually this gets doled out to everybody. And then you find yourself working your ass off. People say, why do you do it? Well, I want a boyfriend or I want a girlfriend and this and that. They won't like me unless I have money or unless I'm skinny and hot. It's true. That's what the greedy world says too. The loving world says it too. We love beauty. But here's the difference. In the loving world, you see so much more as beauty. And the beauty is so vast. And yes, there's physical beauty. There's inside beauty. Like the beauty is all over the place. In the greed world, nothing can afford to look beautiful. Nothing has value unless it's a tangible, tradable asset that you can then consume in some sort of way. It's so shallow. People who consider themselves enlightened, they're so shallow when they do that. They don't even see. And they actually think that they're awake. And they're doing that. But it's okay. Because ultimately speaking, in order to successfully make it to this side of the aisle, when it comes to love, to get yourself the hell out of that greed, you have to sort of step on two places at once. You can't there is no jumping into it. There is none of that. You just have to put one foot in there first. That's why I say you donate to this. Let me lend some of this spirit to you. And we'll pray together, because that's exactly what we are up against. So you lend some of your spirit, I lend a lot more back. And that's how we do that. And then we all push to build the movement where we can build and build and build, and the people in it are benefiting. And we're building new value. Value that wasn't there before in each and every person that's a part of it. That's what we have going on, and that's what we've been building for the last year, and that's what we're continuing to build. That's a beautiful plan. It's a natural plan. You don't have to have a secret faction like an occult. That's what an occult is. That's why this is not an occult. It's just the truth. People say that and they get their mind bent. And it's just so easy. I say, focus on the love. Let's not die now. The truth's got to get out there. The truth is, nobody's talking about this stuff. And I know it. Like backwards and forwards, I know it. It's a reason to keep going. It's a reason to go through this hell. Because it's worth it when you know that that's what's waiting. And the ultimate reason why you know that that's what's waiting is because every other path leads to nothing. You have to go there. That's the only way to succeed. So, since it's the only way to succeed and everything else leads to certain death, not even questionable, it becomes obvious. It's the only way. So, who would miss you if you disappeared? Because it's not going to be your boss. Only because then now they get stressed that they got to work because they got to show up for their check. It goes right back to the same thing, serving the greed. Stop that. We are our own cause. People will stand there and say, there's no justice in this world, there's no God. But yet God gave us the ingredients and we refuse to use them. Oh yes, there is justice and we will get exactly what we deserve. I promise you that, each and every one of you. And it ain't coming from me. I'm just a voice in the wilderness with the truth. I'm weak right now. And I just love. And I say the truth. And I love. And that's what we all need to be doing. I'll be back soon.